So let's go ahead and talk about transforming a ordered pair. So what's going on in this problem? Well, let's imagine we're given an ordered pair, and it can be any ordered pair. This one happens to be 6, -8. And we know it's on our function f of x. Now, if we are going to transform our function f of x given the following pieces of information, we need to interpret each of them individually and how they affect the values in the ordered pair. So I'm going to start with the inside. I'm going to start with this. Now, we know anything inside of our function affects the x values. And remember, it's always the opposite of how they appear. So this looks like it should be multiplying our x value by -7. So it's the opposite. So if it's not multiplying, therefore it is dividing. So we're going to take just our x value. It has no effect on the y, just the x. So we're going to take our x value and divide it by -7. So therefore our x value, the x value itself, is now -6/7. Now, there are no other transformations on our x values, so that is done. So we now know for our ordered pair is -6/7. Now, moving on to the y value, we need to figure this out. We are currently starting with -8, and working like order of operations, the first thing we would do to our y value, which is the outside. So now we're kind of done with the inside, so all of this other stuff in here kind of really doesn't matter. Right, we're just saying like whatever value is coming out of f, the first thing is being done to it is it's being multiplied by -1/5, this dark purple. So what we're going to do is take this value, -8, and multiply it by -1/5. That's our first step. Now, we can simplify that if we'd like. So our y value will now become 8/5. Now, moving along, what else is happening on the outside of our function? Well, we're taking that answer and subtracting 4. And when we're doing the outside, it is just how it looks. So therefore, we multiply by -1/5, and we're going to subtract 4. So I'm going to take this value and -4. To be able to subtract fractions, of course, we need common denominators. So I'm going to think of that as 4/1. So I'm going to multiply that by 5/5, which is going to give me y equals 8/5 minus 20/5, which would result in y equals, well, 8, the denominator, the fifths are going to stay the same. We have 8/5, take away 20/5, so 8 take away 20, that would be -12/5. And that would be our value for y. So now we're going to take that value and write that into our ordered pair. And so now we can see, how did these transformations affect our ordered pair of 6, -8? Well, again, just to recap, the -7 divided our 6, which resulted in -6/7. The -1/5 multiplied our value of -8, and then we had to subtract 4, which resulted in our other value of -12/5. That is our ordered pair.